Tonight, construction of a desalination plant in the Upper Spencer Gulf back on the agenda, and plans for a new oyster farm at Streaky Bay blocked by the state government.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Parts of Quorn were put into lockdown this morning as the CFS dealt with a chemical spill from a road train. With roads closed, emergency services worked to bring the situation under control. Edward McCarroll reports.
The CFS has been kept busy today responding to a hazardous material spill at a road train depot in Quorn. Just after 8:30 this morning, a call was made to the CFS reporting that nitrogen gas was leaking from a truck's cargo tank.
Crews from Stirling North, Wilmington and Quorn were responded to a reported hazardous materials incident here on Park Terrace and Smith Street in Quorn at the Road Transport Depot.
A total of 3 trucks and 15 volunteers raced to the scene at the road train depot on Park Terrace. The uncontrolled leak also requiring a specialised CFS hazmat brigade to be deployed to bring the leak under control.
Crews arrived on scene to find the tanker in the depot leaking nitrogen gas and have issued a warning to the community to stay clear of the area. The roads are currently closed and crews are working to contain that leak at the moment.
While the road closures did not create much disruption for local residents, the CFS kept the area closed until the incident was completely resolved.
Yeah, look, we're hoping that the road will open within the next couple of hours. The message to the communities until that time is to stay clear of the area and refer to the CFS Facebook or media pages for further info.
The local community advised to ensure that all doors and windows to their homes remain closed in situations like this.
A woman in Port Pirie has been reported after cannabis plants were allegedly found in her backyard. At about 1:30 this morning, police located several plants in the woman's yard. They then searched a house where drug paraphernalia was found. The 58-year-old woman was reported for cultivating cannabis and was issued a fine for the paraphernalia. She will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. Hospital cleaners, orderlies and disability sector staff in South Australia have agreed to a new pay deal. The state government says 94% of employees voted in favour at a recent ballot. The 3-year deal will deliver 4 annual increases between $21 to $22.50 a week and 2 $500 one-off payments. The agreement will go to the Employment Tribunal to be ratified. Desalination in the Upper Spencer Gulf is back on the agenda. The federal and state governments committing $15 million to investigate whether a plant that would supply mining projects in the far north is feasible.
Stopping water supplies from running dry. The Upper Spencer Gulf is in the frame to house a desalination plant as part of the Northern Water Supply Project.
I think it's going to be imperative that we do put in a significant size desalination plant at some place to provide that water for our economic future.
We want South Australia to benefit from a mining industry, but we know that can't happen unless we can get more water to the Gawler Creighton.
The Commonwealth and state governments committing $15 million to the business case. Olympic Dam owner BHP and Adelaide-based Oz Minerals also supporting it. A predicted boom in copper resources spurring the need for more water.
Companies operating in the north of South Australia at the moment either looking for or proving up copper deposits. Now, and this is one of the boom metals in the world at the moment, and there are predicted to be shortages around the world in the coming years. So it's a great place for South Australia to be in.
Applying water into the north of South Australia so that our mining industry can continue to responsibly grow. So not taking more water out of the Great Artesian Basin.
Early estimates suggest 8,000 construction jobs would be created. Others, however, are approaching the proposal with caution.
There's a lot of work to be done. It's early stages, and I guess in our region we've seen lots of feasibility studies, and I think we've learned to take things a step at a time.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The state government has shut down a proposal to create an oyster farm at the Spit in Streaky Bay. The primary industry minister says the new facility failed to pass certain tests, which meant the development could not be approved.
Back to the drawing board. Developers of an oyster farm at Streaky Bay have been asked to reassess. The proposed site reportedly not meeting aquaculture safety tests.
An application for about a 5 hectare aquaculture development off the spit point at Point Gibson, and it's gone through the assessment process. We've assessed it and determined that it has failed to pass.
The plans met with strong concerns from the community.
A lot of controversy around the proposal over there. There were very much some locals that were very opposed to this particular patch being given an aquaculture licence.
The applicant has accepted the outcome and is welcome to put forward a new proposal as long as it is not the spit. The effects on the tourism industry also a concern.
Yeah, this is a very popular part of the local community's beaches, and certainly it's there for tourists to swim and bird watch, and it's right near Streaky Bay itself.
The minister also adding the site was not ecologically sustainable to host an oyster farm.
A challenging environment to put this in, so but also the ecological sustainability of the area also has to be assessed, and in this case it failed on that basis.
The South Australian Oyster Board did not comment before our deadline. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the fight for aged care beds in Whyalla continues, and the Nationals enter the contest in one of the Spencer Golf state electorates. Welcome back. The member for Giles is the latest to express concerns on the state of aged care in the region, following the Edenfield family care situation in Port Augusta. Eddie Hughes is also wanting a quick solution to the number of beds in Whyalla.
It's a call to help a sector in need of vital resources. Following the revelations at Port Augusta's Edenfield Family Care Centre, the Labor State MP is calling for more to be done to fix the industry.
So that puts our people in our region, in Port Augusta, in Whyalla, that need a nursing home bed in an incredibly difficult position.
2 weeks ago, the facility was found to be non-compliant with federal aged care standards. Eddie Hughes also wanting a speedy solution to the 50 beds made available after the closure of Annie Lockwood.
Aged care in Australia, and especially regionally, but in Australia as a whole, is an absolute train wreck. There's massive systemic issues. There's poor workforce planning.
The member for Grey disagreeing with Mr Hughes, saying a perfect storm of events happened, including the pandemic and the ramping up of the NDIS. He also says the new operators of Whyalla's aged care service are looking at a possible expansion.
They have some requests around government at the moment. We've provided significant support to getting those new operators in place and hopefully now look at expanding the facilities in Whyalla at an appropriate standard.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The race for the seat of Flinders at the upcoming state election will see the return of a familiar party. The Nationals have pre-selected a candidate for the electorate, selecting a local businesswoman for the seat.
It's early days, but Lillian Pointer is still smiling. The Nationals candidate hoping to make a difference in Flinders.
I want to be able to hear from the people in the community and take what they want to Parliament and get their issues across the board.
Despite not having a background in politics, Lillian says she is passionate about the community. Healthcare, a major focus of her campaign.
I've noticed there's a lot of issues with health and I've had a few health issues of my own, and I've talked to a few people, and I think we really need to look at that.
Road improvements also on the agenda.
And our roads are bad. And I know the government have done sections of road, but they haven't done a whole lot of road. We don't have a small section of road, we have a lot of roads to sort out.
Flinders was once held by the party, with Peter Blacker the MP for 20 years up until 1993. Political commentators say Lillian won't have it easy.
Australia. The Nationals have never had a strong history. As I say, there's a couple of seats where occasionally they've broken through and then a local member can hold that seat. But that's against the flow of the normal pattern.
He says the area is Liberal heartland.
If the Liberals don't win the seat of Flinders, then the whole of South Australia will be in political upheaval. It's one of the bankers, I think.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The South Australian Electoral Commission has revealed their plans for how people infected with COVID-19 will be able to vote at next month's state election. People who have to isolate will be given an exemption to leave their home to pick up a voting kit.
It's one of the biggest days in our state's calendar. Every eligible voter will be able to place their ballot next month in a COVID-safe manner through postal voting and increased social distancing. Those who are infected with COVID and close contacts can register online to pick up a voting kit from their PCR testing station on the 17th of March until Election Day.
So the elector can collect their ballot material from those locations, return to their home address, fill it out by 6 p.m. on polling day, and simply put it back in the post office to be collected by us.
The local member is concerned about the logistics of how safe the kits will be.
When I come out to post it, I've got to get out of the car. And again, then if I'm highly infected, because it could be halfway through the isolation period, I have the potential to actually pass it on to somebody else out there.
Calls to make it possible to vote via phone or internet shut down by the Commissioner.
I don't think it's in the short-term future. There's many considerations that have to be taken into account, and we have to protect the integrity of the election.
The counting of these votes won't be completed until the Monday after the state goes to the polls. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Federal funding now available for regional university students, and a Broken Hill man taking the plunge for a good cause. Applications are now open for funding for initiatives that encourage Spencer Gulf students to study at university. It's in response to a report which found regional students were often disincentivised from pursuing tertiary education.
Reaching university is a goal many young people have across the Spencer Gulf. It can open many doors, potentially leading to fulfilling careers in a variety of sectors.
I'm currently enrolled in a Bachelor of Secondary Teaching, the Arts, commencing next week actually. O Week begins next week, very exciting.
However, not all young people have the opportunity to attend tertiary education. The NAPFINE review, finding regional students were discouraged from pursuing further study. Educators in Whyalla say students in our region face obstacles if they study away from home.
On top of the money to pay for the accommodation, no matter where you live, at a residential college or in flats or whatever, there's often time to set that up. We know of parents having to take weeks off work to just go and organise that.
The federal government now providing more than $7 million in funding for outreach programs that support the region's youth. In a statement, Regional Education Minister Bridget McKenzie says applicants are asked to think outside the box to encourage students.
Take the risk. If you don't like it, you can always come back. You don't really know what it has in store for you until you try it.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Broken Hill Synagogue of the Outback Museum is returning to its normal opening hours. It will be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m, Sunday, Monday and Wednesday. The synagogue was shut down for a second time in mid-December to late January. While it's reverting back to normal hours, visitors will still be required to scan a QR code, be vaccinated and wear face masks. For more information on the museum, head to the Broken Hill Historical Society website. A Broken Hill resident is diving headfirst into the pool this month, all in the name of charity. Andrew Wilson is taking on the Starlight Super Swim Challenge to raise some much-needed funds for children in need of support.
Dipping his toes in the deep end. After receiving an email from the Starlight charity, this Broken Hill resident was more than happy to take the plunge. His goal? Swimming 28 kilometres in 28 days.
Got friends and family, some of them had some sick children and stuff like that. Sadly, a family friend lost a child, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to jump in, give it my best. It really has inspired me and I'm enjoying the challenge.
The Super Swim Challenge is running throughout the month of February. So far, More than 6,000 swimmers have taken part, swimming more than 155,000 kilometres, raising around $1.8 million. The Royal Flying Doctor Service tour guide hasn't had any trouble fitting in at least a kilometre a day.
I've done about 16.5 k's, so we're only, as you said, we're only the 16th of February, so ahead of schedule. I've got a little swim to do this afternoon, so that'll push me even further ahead.
Mr Wilson has always been an avid swimmer, taking part in triathlons and channel swimming.
Swim on a fairly regular basis every day, swim a kilometre. I used to swim the Watanella swim channel, and also I did triathlons and stuff like that, so yeah, I've enjoyed swimming.
Locals responding to the cause in strong numbers.
Yeah, initially I set my goal of $500, but I've just been overwhelmed, Josh. Fantastic support, over $6,000 raised so far, which is just overwhelming.
To donate, go to the Starlight Super Swim page. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll check what you can expect to pay at the Bowser this week. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. Motorists will again be counting the cost when filling up this week, as our region's petrol prices continue to soar. Experts say rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine are behind the spike. Here's Christian Komenos with this week's Fuel Watch.
If you thought last week was bad, then you might want to look away, because motorists are continuing to get slugged at the pump with another week of steady increases. As you can see, prices across the region are staying in the red, with an average increase of about 4 cents per litre. Wyala's figures didn't jump too high, sitting at $1.76. But motorists will be seeing red in Port Augusta, with the price jumping up 6 cents to $1.79. Prices are even worse over the border, with drivers in Broken Hill paying $1.84. The Silver City's seen a 10-cent surge over the last 2 weeks. Adelaide drivers, however, will be happy. The state capital has the cheapest prices in the region, sitting at $1.63. That's a whopping 11-cent decrease from last week. Taking a look at diesel, and it's a sea of red across the board, with price increases at about 4 cents per litre. Motorists in Port Augusta are feeling the brunt, with diesel going up 6.5 cents to $1.80. Again, Broken Hill drivers are getting hit hard as diesel climbs up to $1.82. Wyala, Kadina and Adelaide seen similar price spikes of between 4 to 5 cents per litre this week. Port Pirie's figures only slightly rising by 2 cents. While Port Lincoln has the cheapest prices at $1.74 per litre, bringing things home with autogas, and there has been slight price increases across the region. Kadina's saw 4 cent rise at $1.20 per litre. Autogas prices in Port Lincoln, Wyala and Port Pirie saw only slight increases. And prices didn't move in Port Augusta and Adelaide, with the city offering up the cheapest gas, currently sitting just under $1 a litre. Now remember, these prices are the regional average and do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you do see unleaded, diesel or autogas cheaper, then please let us know through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather across our region. With all the details, it's good evening this Wednesday evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening to you and everyone. Well, we needed the umbrella across most parts of the Gulf today, but it is looking likely to clear up for the rest of the week. And I've got some good news for the weekend as well. I'll have our first sneak peek at the forecast in just a moment, but for now, let's take a closer look at today's conditions. At 3 p.m. today, there was a shower or two for Wyala at 22. Broken Hill was mostly sunny and 36, and Clare reached 21. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta had a shower or two and was 23. It was 25 in Kadina, Port Lincoln and Cleve. Adelaide was 24, Woodner reached 26, and Cooper Pedy was mostly sunny and 37 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, thick cloud over the south and southeast of South Australia with a trough is generating areas of heavy rain and storms. Skies are clear further north and west with a dry air mass and area of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southwest to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swells also below 1 metre. Partly cloudy in most parts tomorrow. Port Lincoln is set to reach 24. It's set to reach 23 degrees in Cleve. Woodner is set to top 24. While we'll get to 25, cloud clearing in Port Augusta with 27 degrees there. Kadina 26. A max of 28 in Port Pirie. Clare will reach 24 and Broken Hill will be mostly sunny and is set to top 30 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, mostly sunny in Port Pirie on Friday with a top of 28 degrees. Cloud clearing in Woodner also 28. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and reach 23, while at 25. A look to the weekend now and it will be sunny in parts of the region. Cooper Pedy will reach a high of 34. Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Broken Hill all to reach 29 and it'll be mostly sunny in Woodner 28. To Sunday now and the good news continues. Whyalla and Kadina will be partly cloudy and both reach 25. Sunny in Broken Hill where it'll top 32. Port Augusta mostly sunny and 28 degrees. So some warm and dry conditions forecast this weekend, John, which is good news given it's hump day. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will return tomorrow night at the usual time of 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.